Hello sailors, this is the Dodgy Kebab, and before you say it, yes, I know that these two things don't seem like they belong together. So trust me when I say I'm just as shocked as you. This is a sponsored video, but one I was actually worried about before I started working on it. I get paid to show you a server that wants to get some eyes on it. To do that, I need to play it, capture footage of it looking good so you can see that the claims the server are making are actually true. So when Firestorm approached me about making a video showing their well-scripted Shadowlands server, I thought, shit, this is going to be a mess. I believed it was going to be nothing but auto-complete quests, broken NPCs, and just an absolute dumpster fire. So when I was greeted by scripting that actually worked really well and the content was very well polished, I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm getting paid though, so you've probably got a high level of skepticism, and that's fair enough. So to prove what I'm saying, let's take a real detailed look at the start of a playthrough I had with a fresh Tyrus Flare beginning at Exile's Reach. So you begin with a boat captain giving you a quest to practice on a training dummy. Nothing too difficult there. But while we're still in this easy section, I want to point out that I'm using the server's mini client, so the game is being downloaded as I'm playing. The speed it downloads is fast, and I didn't really run into any problem streaming all that game data in while I played. So you finish off with the dummy, hand in the quest, and the captain then leads you to the next NPC, who will be issuing you with quests. She gives a salute and then walks away, leaving you with Private Cole, accepting his quest, and then he moves into a battle position and begins a fight with you. After beating him, the next quest just phases into the boat entering bad weather and the crew running for cover. No shortcuts in the scripting that I can see. They've actually bothered to make all this work properly. After a cutscene where you wash up on the beach, soon you're battling Murlocs for item drops. Once you have 6 drops that you needed, you can then begin healing the injured boat crew, all of whom have had their scripted chatter and movements in place. Following this, you and the captain move up the beach to hunt another NPC who wants you to gather meat from mobs. You do that, cook it, complete the quest, then there's even more scripting from the captain happens when you follow her and then end up sparring with her to prove your strength. You are then told to go clear out a mob layer. Once you beat the boss of this section, a gnome is set free and leads you to the next area. Being a gnome, he's got a ridiculous machine, in this case a drone that you are tied to in order to scout the surrounding area. You find that there are tons of undead, so the idiot gnome hands you a device that can make creatures expand in size. After a couple of scripted setup mistakes with the gnome's machine, you cause a boar to become huge and then ride it through the army of undead. Again, this is all scripted brilliantly, is actually quite good fun. This section ends with the boss ogre who is leading the undead left standing and you have to kill him off. With him taken care of, the game leads straight into the next story scene. This whole area just continues on with this level of set-piece scripting and polish. It's really surprising just how much detail Firestorm has actually gone into, not just to make it work, but to make it work really well. It makes just such a good impression on you when you see that the team has gone to such an extent to make a good player experience. Like I said at the start, I was really surprised. I went into this expecting some sort of hack job, botched piece of coding, but what I ended up seeing was actual hard work on display. So the server kicks off with a very high level of working content, and thankfully the trick of making the start work but sod or else doesn't happen here. And when you leave the first island, things just keep working. One of the first dungeons that are offered in the RDF tool worked great, even if I made things hard for my party due to my inexperience of the game involving any post-Cataclysm content. Now, you may be expecting me to continue things on from Goldshire, but no, I'm boosting to level 50 so we can check out some Shadowlands content. So, Sylvanas is having her time of the month and she's gone batshit crazy. The Lich King is no longer the Lich King, but you have to put bits of his mask back together to make a portal to go to the Shadowlands. Once you get there, many people need to be beaten up, including this mini-boss. The scripting the whole time hasn't dropped in quality. It's absolutely top notch. Soon Jaina turns up and wants you and the people that survive the journey to the Shadowlands to hide out in a cave. Once you get there, Jaina explains what is going on, why all this madness is happening, and who some guy called the Jailer is, and why you got to go and fuck him up. But nothing is simple, and you've got to go find the King of Stormwind first, because he's a pussy and got caught by Sylvanas. Once you get him free, you try to leg it, but you'll be greeted by this tentacle cutscene and this giant woman. Anyway, basically, what I'm trying to say is that this all actually works really well. But many of you will want to do dungeons with other players, and you don't have to panic on this front either, because they work brilliantly too. I did a few of these and managed to get through even though I'd never played any of them before. I'm just that good. I'd imagine it might be a bit worrying for the other party members when a tank shows up and says, "Hi guys, I'm gonna be your tank and I've never seen this dungeon before." One of the guys got very upset when I kept killing a mob in the Necrotic Wave when I wasn't supposed to. But at least that means that the scripting was working like it should. Although I'm not going to show it in this video as it will make it far too long. The whole Shadowlands story is scripted here on this server and can be completed from beginning to end with the same level of polish throughout. Then once you reach the end game, the level of scripting doesn't drop off. It actually continues on, so you'll be able to take part in raids and Mythic Plus dungeons, which are all scripted and fully playable. All in all, I'm actually really surprised that Firestorm have made a highly polished Shadowlands server. And if you want to play the latest version of World of Warcraft, but don't fancy handing money over to the abusers at Blizzard, then Firestorm had got you covered here. And that's the big point here. You can play a really well scripted version of Shadowlands from beginning to end without having to hand money over to the awful people at Blizzard. Because between playing a private server and actually giving your money to Bobby Kotick, I know which one is the moral option. And it doesn't involve handing money over to that beady-eyed prick. So head on over to the Firestorm website shown here and in the video description. And you could be playing Shadowlands right now, and I'll bet you'll be just as surprised as I was when you see how good it actually works. Right, that's it, bye bye.